Welcome everyone. We're still continuing our study in the book of Revelation, and we are going to look at Revelation 9, verse 9 to 12. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the sound of chariots, of many horses rushing to battle. They have tails like scorpions and stings, and in their tails is the power to hurt men for 5 months. They have as a king over them the angel of the abyss. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek he has the name Apollyon. The first woe is past. Behold, 2 woes are still coming after these things. So we've seen again and again that for some reason God likes to liken the demonic forces to grasshoppers, and we remember them as the ones who decimated in the 10 plagues the fruitfulness or harvest of Egypt, which is a type of the world. The iron itself speaks of severe judgment, bondage, coldness, and hardness. Even in a positive sense, when God gives us a scepter of iron, it's to smash the pots that are working against his kingdom into pieces. So here it probably depicts the motivation of the demonic forces. What is at heart in these creatures? And at heart for them, it is to bring into captivity and into bondage the inhabitants of the earth, chain them with the irons, and inflict pain with iron. In contrast and in juxtaposed for us as citizens of heaven, Paul's call for us is to put on righteousness as a breastplate. That's our motivation. We have been made righteous, and now we can pursue holiness. And the helmet of salvation on our head, and that we will put on garments of vengeance of our clothing to deal with the enemy, and at the same time then save people out of the attacks of the enemy. So our armor is righteous, and we are called to wear the breastplate of righteousness, which is also called the breastplate of faith and love. And these locust-like demonic forces of torment and destruction who work through mankind, as we have seen, will show no mercy. So their breastplates will induce fear, bitterness, hatred, and oppression in the person that harbors them, but also in what they will then execute on others around them. We said that is the inhumanity of man to man. And they and the people they inhabit will be judgmental, bitter, and impenetrable, or very selfish and cold. And their hearts will be bound and encased in iron. Because of that, they'll want to intimidate, they'll want to control, and they'll want to actually make people do what they want them to do as well, because that's their reference. These spiritual creatures, as we've repeatedly say, are represented as grasshoppers. So their ability to impose their presence as they travel in hordes is further augmented by the sound of their wings. Their presence and their spiritual activities impose more fear and intimidation when people become aware of demonic activities. The atmosphere, the buzz, and the spiritual noise are much worse than their manifesting presence. Sometimes when you drive through an area or you come into a group of people, you can sense the demonic activity that is going on. And that is quite imposing for those who do not know what they're dealing with. It can actually disorientate people when they come into atmospheres of extreme demonic activity. And here it's likened unto the noise of a multitude of horse-driven chariots charging or racing into battle. Now that analogy is used for specific purposes. In other words, they are not relenting. They are actually very actively attacking the inhabitants of the earth, seeking whom they can destroy, whom they can kill, and whom they can rob. To the world and its inhabitants, they can be very intimidating. I think this is a very important principle. There has been a misconception in terms of the closer you move to God, the more you'll be attacked by the enemy. Now, this is actually contrary to that, because whatever the enemy can do to attack any person at any point in time, they will do. He who abides in the shadow of the Almighty will be protected. And he'll see 1,000 on his left and 10,000 on his right, but it will not come near him. So as we remain in the presence of God, there is actually not a greater onslaught upon our lives. We're actually more than protected. The sting is like that of a scorpion, is repeated here. So we must take note of that. They have the ability to really hurt people. And when people say, where is God? Well, He's warned us. He's shown us that the power to hurt people is real. But there is common grace here. 5 months. God says they can only go so far in a person's life. And then that person has the opportunity to turn that winter time into summertime by accepting and acknowledging the Lamb as the King of Kings. The tail is also said to be like that of a snake, that is poisonous and full of venom. And it might be worth noting that the tail of a scorpion is quick, agile, and surprisingly accurate. So if we allow the enemy, after we've had some moments of great opportunity and seen God work, we might become lackadaisical. And then that can induce a backlash. But as long as we remain watchful and prayerful, we are kept safe in the Lord. Greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. And young men, I've written to you because you have overcome the evil one. Overcome means overcome. Their king, the one with the key, is called Abaddon, which in Hebrew means destruction. Now we know who's the one who's hell-bent on destruction. And in Greek his name is Apollyon, which means destroyer. And we know, again, the Lord said of the devil, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So here we have a clear reference that even after he was released as the one who brought bitterness to earth, he is also now the one who is in charge of all the destructive works that are going on through the demonic and occult forces. We can withstand him because God made an open show of him on the cross, openly bringing them to shame, taking them into captivity, and leading us in triumphal procession and making us more than conquerors in Jesus. And therefore, we have all authority to deal with these issues, as we know that our weapons are powerful and mighty in Christ to sort out these hordes. And therefore, this is a good, wonderful gospel, the good news that we can bring to people, that they're actually set free from all obligation, and that they are free to just serve the Lamb and to be free from the demonic activity that will torment them. It is unnecessary. We can set them free, and let's do so. Blessings.